it's embarrassing to make promises to somebody either directly or indirectly, and then to show up and say, I didn't keep my promise that I made to you. It's an embarrassing thing.
If I gave you a deadline to have a 2D animated video done by Friday at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard, you will start that Thursday night. If I gave it to you to have it done tomorrow, which is a Wednesday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard, you will start it tonight. And so that's a huge point of view I have, shrinking time of due dates for people, not to an uncomfortable, ridiculous level, but to a reality knowing that we'll fill the time with whatever we need to procrastinate that we need to start it. Welcome to Outsource to Profits. I have a fantastic guest here. Dillan, do you mind explaining what you do, how you serve the world, and a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Yeah. Good to see you, Jamie. Thanks for having me on. I run a company called Grindstone. We are an accountability coaching program for video creators, so YouTubers, streamers, people who make shorts, video content online, and they want to do it full time and earn full-time income. So we keep them accountable, make sure that they're keeping their promises, and help them make better stuff and grow their incomes in a nutshell.
Fantastic. So we're going to be talking about kind of like the hard things are the hard things for a reason, and focusing in on, if you've ever followed EOS or Franklin Covey's Rocks, there's a reason why you design the few things you're going to do in a quarter that actually move the needle and matter. I have caught myself. I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. I've owned 3 agencies, and I still, at 47 years old, I have to every single day consciously remind myself, are you cleaning up this inbox or working on this dashboard or doing this thing because you have habitually trained yourself to work? The act of actually logging hours and working is like cathartic, and it makes you feel like because you're busy, it must be important. Or is it really important? And that's, Dillan, that's where I want to take this. Can you, your customer is an influencer, somebody who owns a small video editing business, and you do a bit of a time audit. What are you typically finding? Where are they absolutely wasting their time? What are the time vampires that you're being exposed to?
Yeah, that's a good question. When people join, one of the things that we have them do immediately, we give them all these sort of checklists and systems, but one of the things that we have them start doing is using Toggle or some sort of time tracker service so that they can themselves, like we don't have to do it. We have them do it themselves. They audit their time in a week and label how often they're working on XYZ and what projects they're actually working on a consistent basis. And it's an interesting question. I've never been asked that. What we've seen is less of where they're wasting time or maybe projects that they're spending too much time on. And in fact, it's not defining the work well enough, and therefore that work itself taking 5 to 10 times longer than expected, because when work is cloudy or unclear, we're much more likely to put it off. It feels even harder than it really is. And so we just sort of help them break it down into like, what's the main project here? And then what are the next 3 next actions? I don't know if I think it's David Allen's Getting Things Done, but yeah, what's the project, right? It's not work on video, right? It's not work on long form video, which is just this nebulous. It's like, well, what am I doing? What one part of the 500 steps, tiny little steps am I actually working on? Breaking down what are the next actions. So it's not even work on editing the video. It's like, am I making the intro? Am I trying to find which sound effects are going to go well with this video? Am I figuring out the pacing of this? Am I timestamping this? Am I outlining it? So to answer your question, I think a lot of distraction and time wasting comes from not sharpening the axe in the beginning before you start chopping down the tree, and just making your future self a lot happier. It's basically just showing up and doing. You want to basically delegate to your future self very simple, clear tasks so that any old idiot can just sit down and just do the work in front of them.
Interesting. I love that. Like, already we've kind of gotten tactical and provided something really valuable. I'm going to give you a point of view. You mentioned making something time bound. I'm going to give you a point of view that I have. I have 70 employees, and every day I have to remind them of a concept called the cupboard theory. There's actually a technical name for it. I'd have to look it up. Here's the concept of the cupboard theory. You live in a house. That house, it has 4 cupboards filled with pots and pans. You end up upgrading and buying a bigger house. That cupboard and kitchen has 8 cupboards. You migrate everything over and you leave the house for the day, and your significant other sets up the kitchen. You come home from work, and all of a sudden, the pots and pans can barely fit in the cupboards. And you think, how's this possible? We just doubled the capacity of our kitchen, yet we can't do it. And it's because what's happened is you've separated the pots and pans by a few inches apart, give them a little more breathing room, a little more space. But what ended up happening is you ended up fitting the same amount of pots and pans to fill a cupboard. This is what people do with time. If I gave you a deadline to have a 2D animated video done by Friday at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard, you will start that Thursday night. If I gave it to you to have it done tomorrow, which is a Wednesday, at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard, you will start it tonight. And so that's a huge point of view I have, is shrinking time of due dates for people, not to an uncomfortable, ridiculous level, but to a reality knowing that we'll fill the time with whatever we need to procrastinate to the moment we need to start it. What I'd love to hear from you is, you've already given us a nugget of gold. What are some other major points of view that you have that, if you're going to improve your own personal accountability to maximizing time and efficiency, what are some other tactical advices you could give?
Yeah, I mean, a few come to mind. I'm very biased because this is literally the service that we provide, but we provide the service that we provide because I've seen and experienced, both as a sort of giver of this and as a receiver, the power of having a scheduled call with a human being who you previously said that you would do things before that call, right? So having an accountability buddy or a coach or like another human breathing human being that a week ago or 2 weeks ago you said, the next time I see you, I will have done this, this, and this, and then we're going to talk about it on our.
If you ever play squash, the game of squash is played at like 6 a.m, and the challenge is you have a partner, so you can't call them at 5:15 a.m. to cancel. That's the best part about it, is you have an accountability buddy.
Yeah, and you hear that throughout. Fitness is a great example, because so many people, they know exactly what to do. They could tell you and articulate, like, this is probably what I need to do to get more in shape, and they will pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a personal trainer, because they know it's impossible to cancel a gym session if they know another human being is there. They've made a workout for them. They're waiting for you. And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to make promises to somebody, either directly or indirectly, and then to show up and say, I didn't keep my promise that I made to you. It's an embarrassing thing. And so, yeah, having another human being to show up to.
Now let's look at the inverse. You have had many customers come and go. They don't do what they say they're going to do. What are some of the singular biggest reasons why, even when you put an accountability coach, or you've given them frameworks to be able to do things more time efficient, that they fall down? Is it a mindset, a skill set, a toolkit? Where's the falling down start?
Well, that's sort of the work, right? We're not here to we're here to hold people accountable, but we're not here to shame you or sort of treat you like a disappointed teacher when you don't do your homework. It just leads to the next question, which is like, hey, you didn't do this thing that you said that you were going to do. Why? So sort of the question is the question that you just asked. Like, that's sort of the work of it. It's like, okay, why? What happened? What got in the way? Did you overdo it? Did you was it a time management thing? Did you just 2 weeks ago I did
Does it show up in the data when you use what was your time tracker? We use Hubstaff. What was yours?
Toggle.
Yeah. And do you ask the question but also know the empirical answer at the same time? It's just like,
they typically know the answer right away. Like, no one. First of all, I mean, the vast majority of the time, people do what they say they're going to do. I think sometimes people will not do a thing, and it's because the circumstances changed in the meantime, right? If it's 2 weeks between sessions, it's like, all right, I'm going to do this, and then those 2 weeks will happen, and it'll go like, actually, I thought that was important, and in fact, it really, my circumstances changed, or my values changed, or the goal has changed, and in fact, it doesn't make sense for me to do that thing, but it led me to this information or this realization, so I am now, in fact, doing this thing, moving in this direction. But to answer your question, it's people know, it's like, hey, you didn't do this thing. Why? And they're kind of sheepish about it, right? Because again, it's embarrassing. It's like, I didn't do this thing, and here's what got in my way. It could be a time management thing. One of our clients 2 weeks ago said, I had a month to do this, and that was too much time. It was almost too nebulous an amount of time, right?
The cover theory came alive.
Exactly. Yeah. She put her pots and pans all over the place in this giant month. Yeah. And she was like, you should have given me a week to do it. And I was like, okay, then do it today. And she did it that day, which was great.
How do people get a hold of you if they want to know more about best practices around time management, if they need an accountability buddy? And do you serve customers outside of the video space? Maybe kind of define how you could help.
No, we don't serve people outside the video space.
I love that answer, by the way. That's great. So you've niched down.
Yeah.
You've found your bowling lane. That's great.
Yeah. And it seems every quarter we sort of add to the checklist of our avatar and who we serve. And as we get better, and as the service gets better, and as we get better and better results for people, I mean, I would just to throw this tip in there. I think always refining the avatar is a pretty useful thing. And so no, we only work. You have to be making video content. You have to have a minimum of 5,000 followers on all your platforms. Like you can't be a total beginner. Like you have to have some momentum here. That's who we work with. But to reach out to me, I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. Dillan Roy Taylor, DILLAN ROYTAYLOR. Thinking about how to spell my name. Send me. Yeah, don't email me. Just find me on one of those platforms is usually best.
That sounds good. Find you on a video platform. That would make sense.
A video platform. Yeah, we have a YouTube channel, Dillan Roy Taylor, as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, man.
This was great. A great tactical episode. Thank you so much for being on Outsource to Profits.
Thank you, Jamie. Thanks for the questions.
Thank you.